You know, the one thing I'm very surprised it did not happen in the finale for Love is Blind UK Season 2, Kal, his vows, they were actually nice. He didn't mention one time what his type was, even though I was fully expecting him to say it again. This guy. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real recap and review. Yes, for the finale of Love is Blind Season 2 UK. We've been on this journey together for the first 2 weeks, so if you've missed those recaps and reviews, please go back and watch them, especially if you were just binge watching this season of Love is Blind. But guys, today we're getting into episodes 9 and 10. Now, why did they break it into 2 episodes for the final week? I have no clue. It could have been 1 episode. But we got some stuff to talk about. And in case you're wondering, yes, the Season 2 reunion is at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's in the afternoon, of course, on Sunday, August 31st. I have a wedding to attend on that day, but afterwards, you better believe I'm coming home recording and we're getting something out on the channel. So it'll be a late upload, but it'll be kind of early when you think about it because, guys, I'm just going to be working hard on Sunday, so stick with me. And if you don't want to miss it, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, like this video, and get loud in the comments below for this video and let me know which couple surprised you at the altar. I've got one. But now let's waste no more time and get right into this recap for the final week of Love is Blind, because even though nothing crazy happened, something crazy happened. If you're like me and you had a power ranking like I did last week with one couple being at the top. Well, anyway, let's get into it. So episode 9, we begin with, yes, your traditional Love is Blind wedding dress and tuxedo fitting segments. And somehow they were much better than US, even though still nothing to write home about on the men's side, but better than the US. So we'll start with choosing wedding dresses. Matt Willis shows up to the wedding dress segment, and I thought this was weird. I'm thinking, where's Emma? But where's Vanessa Lachey? Oh, sorry, that's US. And of course, on the men's side, well, Emma Willis is at the tux fitting. They both reveal, of course, to the guys and the girls that Katisha and Javin will not be joining because Javin is lying, cheating, and for the streets. He's probably also in a photo booth with Sophie. So sticking with the women's side, we're choosing wedding dresses with Bardha first, and she comes out in her dress, and let me tell you, her dress is really beautiful. And then you have her mom, her sweet mother, just crying, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, and then they start speaking in, I think it's Albanian together, and I'm like, oh, this is really nice. And I just know Chris Tate, my brother, is crying during this scene, and trust me, I almost did too. Next out is Megan, and no, she doesn't come out doing a front flip or a dance move or anything. She's just coming out here, and she's got a nice simple dress, but the train is very long. I was thinking, is this thing sponsored by Amtrak? Because, oh my goodness, it was the longest train of any wedding dress I might have ever seen in my entire lifetime. But it was nice. And then you have Sarover, and her dress is very flowy at the bottom, but it does look nice on her. And I'm thinking here, dang, are we going to go 4 for 4 with wedding dresses? Has that ever even happened in Love is Blind history? At least for me, I don't think so. But before we get to Ashleigh, Sarova's mom reminds her daughter that Kal is lucky because he's marrying you. I know that's right, Mom. I know that's right. So Ashleigh does end up walking out right after Sarova, and I don't not like the dress. I think it's nice. I mean, she likes it. We love it, right? I guess. But she seems very happy. And I'm sure Billy's going to love it, right? So it was fine. But in terms of like ranking dresses, if we even have to rank dresses, well, all of them are nice for the individual that is wearing them. Ashleigh's is probably number 4. And number one might be either Bardha or Sarover. You guys tell me which dress is the best. And throughout these moments with Ashleigh, they tend to sort of play up the fact that Ashleigh seems ready for the wedding, but Billy doesn't. So now I'm very skeptical. Alrighty, now it's time for the guys, the tuxedo fitting, and let me tell y'all something. Nobody looked terrible. And that's the thing. In most Love is Blind tuxedo fittings, there's always that one person that's wearing like a red tie. That was actually Love is Blind US, I think, the last season. And I'm thinking, now, what are we doing? We're going to prom? But everyone looked, I would say, pretty sharp. Now, the one thing I will say, and we'll get to it, is Kieran's choice of hats. Alrighty, so let's begin here with, yes, Kieran. in his choice of hats. A top hat brother. What? No, why? I mean, maybe it fits his personality, maybe, but like, a top hat. I mean, he might as well not pass go and not collect $200. I don't know. What do we do? But then what's even more baffling than that is the fact that Kal wants to wear white at his wedding. Excuse me. I'm just so allergic to nonsense. What in the world? My biggest issue with a man or anyone in the crowd wanting to wear white is the simple fact that you don't do that at a wedding. The bride wears white. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, guys. Am I crazy here? But Kal's friend is super skeptical of him marrying Sarover. So we have Kal's friend that's skeptical. You have Kal's brother that's skeptical. I mean, who's next? Kal himself? And then they transition to Jed, and Jed says, I feel ready to say I do. There is this lapel that Jed is wearing that I thought, okay, it could look nice, but it's a little overt. It reminds me of Christmas time for some reason. I just don't know why, but that's something that I feel like I would see at a Michael's Art and Craft store. Y'all been to Michael's? I'm talking to our US people. But yeah, it was like a lapel. It looked okay, but I wouldn't have worn it personally. So maybe, do I not like the tuxedo fitting segment as much as I thought I did? And they go back to Kieran, and Kieran says, listen, unlike these other guys, I'm confident that we both say I do. And then, of course, Kal walks out with his tuxedo, and I expected it to look really sharp because the man's ripped. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. He's ripped. But he comes out in a white tuxedo. Bro, have you not learned? You don't wear a white tuxedo. Maybe it was for jokes, but no. And then, of course, they end this segment on Billy because Billy says in his testimonial that he loves Ashleigh, but he doesn't know what the right thing to do is come wedding day. I think he said it in his testimonial, or maybe it was a one-on-one with his buds. But at any rate, at this point, I'm thinking he is saying no at the altar. Oh, poor Ashleigh. So now it's time for our Bachelor and Bachelorette parties. And if you are wondering, no, the Bachelor party is actually not as bad as Love is Blind US. Or, excuse me, the Bachelorette party is not as bad as Love is Blind US. At least it was fun for the ladies, because in recent history, especially with Love is Blind US, you got the guys going to like a pro football training facility and playing football, and then you got the girls like, we're gonna go on a boat, but it's like one of those tiny party boats that you rent. So, but they at least, it was pretty equal here. So we'll start with the Bachelor party, guys. And Kal said, Love is blind. I'm so confident, gentlemen, and Sarover isn't. Now, Kal, you got an ego. You might want to deflate it just a little. But hey, the drinks are flowing, so they're saying crazy things. Jed said if he can't feel heard in his relationship, though, it won't work. And I'm starting to think, Jed, you can't have too much of an issue with Bardha taking lead. I get it. Men have to be the leaders of the household. I understand. But you can also let your partner lead, too, in a way. There are different ways to lead in a marriage. So listen, I don't know. It seems like Jed's trying to find some excuses at this point, and I'm thinking, is it gonna work? So the guys are drinking, they're dancing, and Kieran's on the dance floor. Who would have known he's such a danceaholic? I mean, this guy is on the floor. I'm thinking, all right, good for you, Kieran. Less inventive, though, than the girls' bachelorette party, but we're almost there. My last note for the bachelor party segment is this. Kal and Billy have a conversation, and Kal asked Billy, what would you say if the wedding were right now? And Billy said the answer that I feared for Ashleigh. He said, I'm going to say no, lad. And then, well, I was thinking you should just end it right here. Call Ashleigh right now and say, honey, no, wedding ain't going to happen. But like, we'll see what happens at the altar. So now we're going to the bachelorette party, and let me tell you guys something. They seemed like they were having fun. So Ashleigh, of course, has some conversations before the main event starts and says, I don't feel any better about the situation with Billy. And here I am thinking, no, this is terrible. So I feel like she's tapping out a little and Billy's tapped out at this point, right? And then they ask Bardha, how are you doing? And Bardha says, listen, we both had an argument. And everyone's, an argument. Okay, what kind of argument? Over who's paying the bill. Okay, Okay, listen. In the grand scheme of things, in the context of this season, I understand why that would be an argument with those two. But if you both are arguing, I'll pay. No, I'll pay. One of y'all pay, because eventually it's going to be both of y'all's money. So somebody, just somebody pay. This shouldn't be a thing. You know what I mean? That's like, no, I'm going to get you a surprise gift. No, I'm going to get you a surprise gift. Just pay the bill. Jed was apparently very upset, according to Bardha, because Bardha apparently agreed to let him pay, but then, well, naturally she just went to go give the card. Okay, so now with the context, I understand why Jed might be a little frustrated, like, honey, that was me. I was supposed to take care of this, which I get. But you're really gonna let this ruin y'all? Come on. So after Bardha essentially says, yo, we're in a rough spot right now, a day before the wedding, a drag queen comes out and asks the girls about their fiancés. Most of the answers weren't anything of note, to be completely honest with you. But the thing of note was the strut off. I've never even heard of a strut off, but strut off is, I guess, where you go down the catwalk and you're strutting your stuff. Yeah. What ended up happening was not what I just did, but they actually attempted it. So I'm telling you, this is just more inventive than the guy's side, right? So everyone went up and everyone was trying, and then Megan said, I got y'all. She was in her element here, and they seem to be having fun. But of course, you can't end any segment this week during Love is Blind without an Ashleigh and Billy tease at what's ahead. So Ashleigh has a convo with her family members and loved ones about Billy's apprehensions, and the sisters are shocked. They're like, he's apprehensive? What did you do, bring up cake again? So next up, we have a segment where they all prepare to go home, at least for a few days before the wedding. And this is something very different. I'm not used to this in Love is Blind, because usually in the US, they don't go home, do they? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But they're now spending time with the UK version in their hometowns, trying to sort of formulate their thoughts and see if they really are going to take that next step. And I thought that was very interesting. It adds a level of suspense that I actually kind of liked for this show. And honestly, I only have a couple of notes here because Ashleigh and Billy look like things are not so great. Billy looks checked out before they even leave for home. That man, I don't know. Maybe he needs to just go back to his routine for like 2 or 3 days and he'll come back refreshed. It didn't look great though. And then next up is Jed and Bardha. So Jed and Bardha, they're both leaving with a bit of uncertainty. I think that argument was way worse than Bardha's making it out to be. Jed he cannot live with the fact that he's not able to pay for a bill. That's gotta be it. And then, without wasting any time, they go right into the weddings, and I was actually a little surprised. I thought that they would show our individual contestants at their homes and have some segments here, because you're breaking this final week up into 2 episodes. I thought maybe, you would just spend so much time on that, but that's not the case, because they were like, nope, we're going right to the altar. So we begin with a set of montages for every contestant, as they're getting ready for their wedding, and it's very cinematic. I love how they did the whole letterbox aspect ratio, and I'm thinking here like, all right, Love is Blind UK, what production crew do you work with? Because US, take notes. But we're beginning with Bardha and Jed's wedding day, and Bardha says that since they left the apartments, there were more arguments. Listen, at this rate, I'm thinking this is bad. This is bad. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like Jed wants to wear the overalls and Bardha wants to wear the overalls in the relationship, so they might as well just buy a double XL and try to fit in together. But this is bad for them, right? But then we get into Bardha's makeup room and all the girls are there, and Olivia's hating self is ready to say something on that couch during the makeup moment. But to be fair, she was not hating in this moment. So I don't know, maybe if it was the editing in this segment, though, it just felt very dry, and I was like, please just fast forward to the wedding ceremony. It was a very pretty venue once they got there, though, and let me tell you, all the venues were really nice. But when they were, bringing Bardha to the altar, Jed and Bardha almost kissed before their moment. So I was like, yo, don't ruin this. That would be bad. That's almost as bad as Kal wearing a white tuxedo. So they exchange vows together, and Jed in his vows said Bardha had his heart a long, long time ago. Was it really that long ago, bro? Weren't you like 3 weeks ago in the pods or something like that? can't be that long, but maybe he's saying in a very like weird sense that like I've been looking for a woman like you and you had my heart and you're exactly who I wanted. So Jed started crying naturally during Bardha's vows because Bardha was saying some sweet stuff, and I'm thinking, oh shoot, okay, they're over it. Whatever argument they had, they're over it. They're gonna say I do. I was wrong. When they ask Bardha, do you take Jed to be your lawfully wedded husband for better, for worse, for sight or sight unseen? No, they didn't say any of that. They just said, yo, you want to marry this guy? And Bardha said, I vow to do all these things at the right time. No, I mean, okay, she literally said this. I vow to do all of these things at a time where we're both ready, and I don't think that's today. Mamma mia. Oh my gosh, that is crazy work, Bardha. And part of me does feel like Jed was going to say I do because he assumed, well, Bardha's going to say I do. So my number one ranked couple in the power rankings last week walk away not married. And I'm thinking, great, this is crazy. So is no one getting married? Someone in my comments last week said no one's going to get married. And I wonder if that's going to be the case. So afterwards, Jed asked Bardha, why did you say no? And Bardha cites that arguments are a big reason why. But Bardha reassures him, I love you with all my heart. And you know what Jed says? 99% of it. Yo. I'm like, Jed, that might have been the coldest line anyone's dropped this season. And it was when you got rejected at the altar. That's sad, actually. Wow. So now it's time for wedding ceremony number 2 with Sarover and Kal. And let me tell you, Sarover really loves this man. She cannot stop talking about how she's in love with him. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with him. We're going to have kids. And then, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is a genuine thing. So everyone's coming in, and then you have all on the women's side, everyone's walking in, but Sarova's mom walks in, and she's walking in with a drip. Let me tell you, either she's going to Sunday church or she's going to the Kentucky Derby because she came in strong with that hat. But I did like the way Sarova's mom views them coming from a different background beautifully. It actually gave me some hope for them both. So naturally, they go back to the guys' room, and then Kal, well, you would think, yeah, he sounds so certain too, right? No, he sounded pretty uncertain about Sarover and him with his brother. These men, I don't know, man. So as they're making final preparations, for some reason the producers are wildly obsessed over showing Kal getting changed in his chest and all his abs and stuff. Do we have some thirsty producers? I don't know. But they get to the wedding venue, and it does look very vibrant from what I remember. Weren't there some pinks and then some oranges or yellows? It was very vibrant. But they get there, and the officiant looking at both of them, doing the thing, and then they ask Sarover first, do you take Kal to be your husband? And Sarover says, I do. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, okay, that's not a surprise. So then they ask Kal, and this is where I'm curious. So the music starts going, you're getting all the dramatics. Kal, do you take Sarover to be your lawfully wedded wife? And he says, I do. And here we go, our first married couple for Love is Blind UK Season 2, and I am actually happy for them, okay? They seemed really genuine in the moments to follow, and I'm like, all right, this wasn't because Kal was pressured. It looks like a super genuine moment, and I do wish them well with their marriage. It just seemed beautiful. And also, I'm not gonna lie, that ceremony looked lit. I wanted to be there because it was a nice combination of both cultural backgrounds. It was just beautiful. So we're 1 for 2. Will Megan and Kieran give us another wedding moment? Let's go ahead and figure that out because it's time for Megan and Kieran's wedding day. And I'm wondering, guys, is this the first time we're seeing Kieran's mom? Am I wrong on that? Have we seen her? I don't know, man. Things are kind of a blur right now. But I feel like this is the first time we've seen Kieran's mother. But, Kieran says, Mom, I think you're going to love this. And he comes and breaks out the top hat that he's going to wear. And it's a choice. But hey, it's not my wedding, so I'm happy for him. Kieran has a moment with his dad now on the bridge that was really sweet. And Kieran's dad was dropping gems into his hand. He basically said, Kieran said, hey, look, I'm nervous. And Kieran's dad said, well, that's okay, because that means it means something to you. And I'm like, ooh, if you're nervous, it matters to you, I guess. Ooh. I was like, all right, come on. I'm getting my notes. So they get to the altar and everyone's getting all teary-eyed, but Kieran might have cried more than Megan in this moment, because the minute he sees Megan and then he starts reciting his vows, he's sobbing. And I get it, bro. I get it. Because listen, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be crying. Oh man, I love the fact that Kieran does wear his emotions on his sleeves in a way like that. So it is beautiful to see them both there. They look great, and well, hey, I'm hoping at this point they say I do, because I really like them. And they ask Kieran first, and Kieran says, I do. Did you like that? I played that up. All right, let me try it again with Megan. So then they turn to Megan. So we got Kieran, he's all in, and they ask Megan, do you take Kieran to be your dance partner for the rest of your life? And Megan says, I do. She couldn't even hide it, y'all. So another married couple. I'm so excited here. So yeah, we got we're 2 for 3 right now. Oh man, I like the odds for our last wedding day, which is Ashleigh and Billy. Billy says, listen, I missed her so much more than I thought I would after spending 3 to 4 days apart, but I still have my concerns. And I could just see it right now. The producers are in Billy's ear like, hey, play this up a little bit more. At some point, Billy, make up your mind. But Billy still sounds uncertain through the whole lead up to the wedding moment itself. And I'm thinking, man, this is not great. So even when he gets to the altar, he looked a little uncertain. But to me, I'm not going to lie, this segment was probably the most boring of it all, because the lead up was very meh. You know, I was just wanting them to get to the altar. Nothing about this was going to be as exciting as the decisions they make at the altar. So, yeah, they get to the altar. Ashleigh, Billy, Ashley's so excited. They recite their vows. And I'm going to be honest, I think Ashleigh was emoting a lot. So, Ashleigh does say, I do. Okay, and does that surprise anybody? No. So Ashleigh says, yes, I want to marry you, Billy. So then the officiant asks Billy, and through that is where you start to see so many more of those emotions on Ashleigh's face. Billy's taking his time, and Ashleigh's making faces like, what are you waiting for, bro? Or like, what is wrong with this man? So he's so uncertain. I don't know. Was he uncertain? Was he confident? Billy confuses me. I can't read this man. But they ask him, Billy, you going to take Ashleigh to be your wife? And Billy says, well, I do. I tricked y'all. But I am shook, okay? I cannot believe that they actually are getting married, simply for the fact that Billy didn't seem certain at all. And even during the actual vows and the altar moment, it did not seem like he was all in. But maybe that's his background. You know, the military background, super stoic. But you know, he seemed pretty happy. He loves her. She loves him. And guess what? That's another married couple for the finale. I couldn't even say that word. Why? All I got to tell y'all is this. They better not be serving wedding cake at the reception, because you know Billy might actually change his mind. Jokes. But I'm serious. I hope they didn't serve cake. So that's 4 couples this season, you guys, that got to the altar, but only 3 got married. And you know what? That's not the worst odds in Love is Blind history. If anything, that's a high percentage, okay? That's like Michael Jordan-esque numbers for Love is Blind. So good on y'all, okay? I should have said Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's my GOAT. But listen, I never would have guessed that Jed and Bardha would be the ones to not get married. I thought it was going to be Ashleigh and Billy not getting married, or even Kal and Sarover. But Bardha, to end this week, of course, they go back to the contestants that didn't get married, and Bardha's crying. Jed is saying, we're going to have to spend a bit of time apart. Basically, he's saying, deuces, goodbye. So I'm curious at the reunion if they've sort of gotten, together again, or if they have like an amicable relationship, but I don't believe that's the case. And of course, the one thing we were all waiting for was Kieran and Megan's routine for their first dance. And you know what? It looked pretty good. They were having fun, and they were grooving. Hey, listen, Megan taught him well, I guess, in these 3 weeks or whatever. But there you have it, y'all. That's my real recap and review of the final week of Love is Blind UK Season 2, our weddings. Like I said, we got Ashleigh and Billy, Kal and Sarover, and Megan and Kieran getting married, while Jed and Bardha were... Bardha said, let's put a pin in this, but not great, y'all. again, the season 2 reunion is coming soon. Okay, it's this weekend on Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you need a time zone conversion, let me know down below in the comments. Again, I'm gonna be a little late on it, but I'll try to get it up on Sunday because Monday's a holiday. So we're gonna have that time to work on it late Sunday. But yeah, you guys, I'm excited. This was a good season of Love is Blind. I'm gonna be honest, I really like Love is Blind UK. Okay, there was one real friend who told me you should watch Love is Blind UK. So if you're watching this, shout out to you, because it really it stayed on my mind. I'm like, you know what, I gotta really make this note. So Love is Blind UK, it really worked for me. Okay, I liked it better than a lot of the US seasons, to be honest with you, in terms of like how genuine it was. So I had fun. But let me know down below in the comments, you guys, what you thought of season 2. Did all of the couples you thought would get married or not? And again, if you haven't, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on that bell, and like this video. Guys, we're almost at 30,000 subscribers, and it's due in large part to you. Oh man, I'm excited, guys. More fun stuff on the way. I can't wait. Alrighty, y'all, again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll catch you at the next screening. Yes, sir. Another season in the books. You know what? I'm just happy Katisha and Javan weren't at any of the ceremonies. Keep the drama out of here.